Now, getting to the ego, let me say that over here is the ego, and we develop our little personality around here. And it's kind of like, here's you going through conditioning, and you have your little coherency built on lots of judgments. And there's not that there's not good things in there too, but the good things we can make better, but they're not really a problem. I'm talking about the areas that catch us, that knock us to our feet, that make us go to sleep at night and not feel great or not feel good, or wake up in the morning and wish it wasn't morning. Those times. And maybe I'm the only one that has them, but I doubt it. Anyway, the world of judgment is competitive, comparative. I'm not a good speller. If somebody else would like to come and write this while I'm saying it. It's rational, logical, and highly reactive. This is kind of the ego personality coherency that we formed out of what was ever in our environment for us to know how to live here. How can I go out into the world and exist? And who am I out there? Over here, I'm going to put the word truth. Over here is who you really are. And some of those things you know already. Some of those things that you love about you. Can you tell me one thing one of you love about you? Or respect, at least.
My curiosity.
Your curiosity. Some more.
My creativity.
Creativity.
My head of hair.
Your head of hair.
His sense of humor.
His sense of humor.
Love of fun.
The love of fun. See, we all have these positive attributes. If we could just do something really simple. Most of us identify with who we are over here, the known conditioned reality. But who we really are, who we're becoming, discovering, uncovering, is more over here. So if you could take your identity from here and place it here, when you make that transformation, another whole door of you opens. And what happens, all of these have beliefs and patterns that limit you. The only way to take back control of your ego, because we need it here in this land, in this dimension, or whatever we want to call it, we need our ego. But it doesn't have to be the tail wagging the dog. So we've got to make the ego our servant instead of our master. And let's say you have a behavior that whenever you're with a certain kind of man, you feel insecure. Well, right away I would go, that doesn't fit over here. That fits here from whatever happened to you. And so that isn't me. That's a behavior I learned. It was taught to me. It was never me. And I'm going to let it be all right that that's part of my conditioning, but I'm not going to identify that it's me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's really important. Because who I am is over here. Now we have a few clues. You know, I was talking about happiness, joy, peace, and compassion. This is where you really live. And we have another clue that's called pleasure. And the mind that likes to change. But change without expectation. Expectation is over here. I want you to love me. Well, I don't want you to love me that way. I want you to accept me, but I don't want you to do that in the morning or this in the morning. That's all not who I am. And what I say is, thank God it isn't me. Thank God it isn't me. And sometimes I can find myself in the behavior, and right away I can recognize it and go, oh, you live over here. Of course you would do that. Of course you would do that. And it's all right. I accept that because it's there, but I don't identify. The minute you allow and accept this ego, you're in charge, because it has no juice, no power, no gasoline. It's just like if your hand is on the ego and I'm fighting my ego, it's just exercising you and getting stronger and stronger. The minute it pushes, it can't get you any longer. That's how you master the ego, by simply allowing it and accepting it. It's your ego. Nobody wants it. You're responsible for it, but it isn't who you are. It's kind of the luggage that you got when you went through conditioning. I think of when we're born, we're like a room of pure light. And that first breath. The second breath, conditioning happens. And furniture moves in. The furniture of you should do that, you can't do that, you mustn't do that, you'll never be able to sing, oh my God, what an artist you won't be, blah, 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 blah. And pretty soon the room is so filled with furniture, you forget you're the room of light. And you become the furniture because of repetition, because of demands, because of, I can take that love away. And we've got to remember, we're the room of light. And as you keep going over to uncovering the truth of you, that spirit you are just waits for an opportunity to get through. And like the things that you said that you loved about yourself, these are little shots that got through. And they can grow and grow and grow, but not if you won't allow all these things over here to be. Because they are. Just don't identify with them. It's kind of like this pen. I think most of you would allow that I'm holding a pen, because to not allow it would be kind of silly, because indeed you can see I'm holding a pen, and so what? However, when it comes to certain thoughts that you have, you won't allow them. They're already there, but you say, a woman like me shouldn't have that. A man like me shouldn't feel that. But the truth is, you do. However, it's not who you are. It's one of your patterns. You know, a child until the age of 5 cannot interpret life. It can only believe. So whatever is said to it, it believes. Whatever is said to it. And it can have two reactions. It can give in to it, or it can be a rebel to it. But either way, it's not them. One is accepting the external mind, and the other is fighting the external mind, but still there's no one home over here yet. You have your own wisdom and knowledge. You have a place where you're whole and complete and strong and beautiful and precious. And it's waiting for you. And the ticket is to simply move that ID over here. These states of consciousness, of truth, of the vision of the wonder of life and us as life, the part of us that is love, the part of us that is empowered, completely powerful, powerful in life, not controlling life, but in life. The part of us that has certainty and that has absolute joy of being a human. I'm here, men, line up. That kind of passion. And women too. To just love yourself so much that you fall in love with everybody. Someone once said to me, there's nobody out there, Lynne, but you. There's nobody out there, Lynne, but you. And everybody you draw to your kingdom is a you you don't know about. Is a part of you you never thought to think or feel or be. And there's a place where they are you. Well, that was pretty lofty for me. But in my work, I realized, because I was also really curious, people would call me nosy. Actually, I like curious better, but I'll take nosy. And there is all of you waiting for you. And it will wait forever. It will never, ever fight the ego. If you're trying to get rid of any of these, that's a trick of the ego. It's the ego trying to entertain you by getting rid of itself. Ha, 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 ha. And it's kind of it's very sophisticated, the ego. It knows you in every cell of your being. It knows what buttons to push as little rings all around that can lead you places. So I admire it. I wish I had the sophistication over here, and I will one day. But right now, I'm up against, and if you have a brilliant mind, you have a brilliant ego. I'm up against a pretty tough character here. And it isn't that it can't get me. Sometimes it really gets me. And I can't say, well, thank God that's not me, and jump over here. Other times I have to crawl out. But I know where to go. I know where to go. And NLP gives you so many ways as well to go. But this is who you really are. And what's around you that's not allowing you to feel that all the time is like, I imagine it to be like a big tire of cement called my conditioning. And it doesn't allow that knowing that I am to come out. And the minute you stop fighting it or judging the judgment, just accept the pen. Accept the pen. Accept every dark thought, every dark feeling, every dark action you've had. Just accept, yep, that was me. I did that. And of course I would from my conditioning. And I learned from it. And what I learned mostly is it isn't really me. Who I am is pure love, the light. I am happiness and joy, peace and compassion. I am pleasure. And I want everyone who's willing to come along with me. And that's what you are. You're all in service. You're in service from the deepest love that you are. Thank you.